Uh-oh. What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? What is up, you guys? I had not planned to come back live. It seems like, well, I know I got to do a TikTok live, but I had not expected to do another YouTube on today. It has been a busy day, y'all. I don't know if y'all have been feeling this way, but this week has just had me feeling like I just want to take a nap. I literally just want to sit down and take a nap. Our topic for this broadcast, what God wants me to talk about for this particular broadcast, the topic is this. This season brings new experiences. Hey, Mrs. Welker. This season brings new experiences. I'm going to say that again. This season brings new experiences. God says to say it again. This season brings new experiences. I'm going to say it again. This season of your life, it brings new experiences. Hey, Miss Jennifer. I'm going to say it again. This season of your life, it is going to bring new experiences. I was having a moment where I was just kind of reflecting on, hold on, y'all, I'm trying to take my shoes off. Where I was just kind of reflecting on like some of the things that have been happening even in the month of November, and just how things are seeming to be so very different. And what the Lord told me when I was just pondering, like, what's different about, I was asking God, what's different about this? It seems like everything in this season, especially this month, is just truly like just different. And what the Lord told me, he said, many of my children in this season, especially in this month of November, with it being a month of crossover, with it being a month of extreme harvest, many of his children are in a state of being where either God is like re-emerging you into like, you know, life before the storm, life before the Job season hit your life. And for some people, God is just bringing you, into contact with living life a different way than how you're used to living it. And so one of the things that he was showing me, I was thinking about, I said, Lord, in that Job season, right? It's like in that Job season, I told God, I said, Lord, I was on rental assistance that entire season. Before that season, I paid my rent, paid all my bills, but once that season hit, it was like rental assistance. And it was literally like, how can I put this? I guess I got accustomed to it. The season shifted like in October for me, like with the rental assistance thing. And so I was kind of reflecting on it. And God's response to me was, this season brings new things. And I knew that what he was saying is, I'm re-emerging you into life before the storm. Before that season of life took place, I'm bringing you back. And it's a time of restoration for like those of us that like we're seeing God like re-emerge us and reintroduce us to things that maybe we did before we went through whatever season of development we went through, whatever that season looked like. It's like as he re-emerges us, it feels very different. It feels very strange. And, to a certain degree, like different types of fears can like come up. But I was telling God, I said, Lord, you covered me all of those months because all the money was going to Bella. Like all of that money in that season went to my dog. And I know some people like it's just a dog, but that was my heart. All of that money went to her and everything that she was going through. And so I was just saying, God, it is so very different. But what he told me, he said, not only am I bringing you back into a place of restoration where you're back to like doing things the way that like you were before that season hit your life, but he said, this season is also preparation for home ownership. And I was telling God, I said, this was one of the reasons why I was a little bit uncomfortable about the house deal. I said, because my mindset was, I haven't even been paying rent. Do you not see this struggle, God? I was already in a season where it felt like my faith was literally not working, but it was working, if that makes sense. But it felt like it was broken. And so it made a lot of sense when God said, this is about restoration, but it's also preparation. I'm going to say that again. This is about restoration, but it's also preparation. And with us being in a time of God restoring us, you know, to a point where we are much better than we were before, it's also preparation for the bigger blessings, that we are believing God for. So it made a lot of sense, because that was one of the things that I told God. I said, God, if I can't even pay rent, and at the time my rent was like $1,000. I said, if I can't even pay rent, how am I gonna pay a $1,700 mortgage? And that's, you know, with all the different types of fees and stuff, the homeowner association, your taxes, all of that. Like, this was literally my concern back in like March of this year. If I can't even pay this $1,000, how am I gonna do this, God? How am I gonna do it? Because it was such a drastic change. And even talking to like several people today, everyone seems to be having that same type of experience where, you know, things are just different. You know, the things that God is exposing us to in this season, it feels different, but it also feels uncomfortable, because for many of us, we grew accustomed to operating a certain way, living a certain way within, like, you know, the confines of that season, that stormy season, that Job season. We grew accustomed to not having enough money for different things. We grew accustomed to having to like operate and maneuver certain ways. We grew, maybe, you know, you've said, Apostle, I lost, you know, my place of residence in the old season. And maybe you've been like in a state of being where you've been staying with other people. Maybe you've been sleeping in your car, or whatever the case may be. It's like when God begins to bring you into your you know, your promise of living arrangements, your own place, it is going to feel so very different. It is going to feel almost uncomfortable, because you grew accustomed to living a life without having that promise. And so that is, you know, those are like some of the pros and cons, the different fears, the different types of the levels of discomfort that many of us, you know, will feel as we embrace all that God is doing in this season. Like, I was telling God, I said, Lord, it just feels different. It's not like a warfare type of feeling. It's different, and it's scary, because it's been so long since I've done X, Y, and Z. And that's literally what some of y'all gonna say. You're gonna be like, Lord, you know, it ain't warfare, but it's just different. And I got some uncertainties. I got some reservations, because it's been so long since I had a great job. It's been so long since, you know, I've had a place of my own. Some of y'all are literally gonna say, I got reserves, because it's been so long since I cooked a home cooked meal. It's been so long since I drove myself to work. This is a season that God says he's restoring and preparing. Hey, Mrs. Etna. Hey, Visha. This is a season where God says he is both restoring us to a much better condition than how we were before we entered our wilderness, how we were before we entered that Job season. But it's also a season of like preparation. And it's like this season brings new experiences. It brings new ways of, you know, being able to enjoy life. It just brings a newness and a freshness with it. And I'm here to tell those of you guys that are here, don't fear this change. Don't fear this change, no matter how uncertain it may be. Do not fear this change, because for many of us, it's literally going to be like, once we enter and receive our promise, once we enter into the place that God has for us, many of us, we are not going to want to go back. It's going to be understood that there's no going back. You may have reserves at first, but when you see all the goodness, and when you see that God is for real about, you know, not taking this promise away, not catfishing you, not pulling the rug under your feet, like many of y'all, many of us, myself included, will be able to like kind of just relax and let that be it. And so, again, this season just brings new experiences, new ways, new ideas in this season, new levels of creativity. It also brings some of us into doing things that we've never did, even before the stormy season, even before that Job season. This season is bringing us into new and foreign territory. And some of us are going to find ourselves maneuvering and operating through life in a way that we have never experienced before. And so that is the word. That was what God wanted me to release to y'all. That was what he wanted me to release. And so if you can receive this, can you just tell God thank you? If you can receive it, can you just tell God thank you? Right now, where we are with our goal, we are at 608. I did have to get gas. I did get me something to eat. God has also been telling me, you're not going to not spend, spend money on things that you need, like food and gas. And so where we are with our goal, this is what I need to get rent paid for in full. It is at 608. And so my goal right now, I want to get into the 500s, whether that's someone sowing a $9 seed, a $10 seed. That is my goal, to get into the 500 range. God may lead you to sow more than 10. He may lead you to sow 100. He may lead you to sow 150. He may lead you to sow 200. He may lead you to sow the entire thing. It doesn't matter. But my goal is to get into the 500s before this day is done. And so right now we're sitting at about 608. And so that would take maybe like a $9 or a $10 seed. And that's it. And so can someone just type the goal in? And I'm not saying this for anyone to feel sorry or feel like you have to sow, because you don't have to sow. God says I need to say that you do not have to sow. But I'm putting this out here so that you guys know where the funds that you guys are sowing into this ministry, where they are going. That is my goal. I would love to get to like 300. That would bring me so much peace. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, but right now, the first goal is to get into the 500s. And so, to those of y'all that are sowing seed just into the goal, you can label it paid in full or God is faithful. To those of you guys that, are sowing seed into this word, you sow whatever God leads you to sow, but that is where the money is going to go towards. And so, again, my goal is to get into the 500s by the end of the day. As finances come in and as we reach that goal of what we need to pay it in full, I will let you guys know so that y'all are not continuing to sow towards a goal that is no longer there. And so that is it. I love y'all. All I can do is tell y'all the goal, tell y'all the need. But my goal is to get into the 500s, to break that barrier of the 600s and actually get to where the goal is like 5 something. But that is it, y'all. I love y'all. I am rooting for you guys. I want to encourage you guys to join me over on TikTok at 6:30 tonight. It has been a busy day. I'm a little bit sleepy. God knows. I'm like, Lord, can I just sit down and get a nap? But I'm about to actually go and change and go get me a workout in before it gets too late. And so that is it. The ways to sow are there. If you want to purchase t-shirts, crew necks, we have fleece sets. You guys can purchase them on the site, thoughtsbyt.com. But that is it, y'all. I love y'all. I am rooting for you. And again, God wants me to say it. My goal is to get into the 500s. Whether that's somebody sowing $10, whether that's you sowing 20, whether that is you sowing 100, that is my goal, to get out of the 600 range and get a little bit closer to our goal. And so again, if you're sowing seed specifically into the goal, please just label it God is faithful or paid in full. But that is it. I love y'all. I'm rooting for you. So until next time, y'all, peace.